My name is Kleman, and this is my speech about Chernobyl, Russia, and these are my witnesses, Lily and Gary. The Chernobyl nuclear power station was one of the largest and oldest in the Soviet Union. It was the only graphite moderate design left, originally meant to create nuclear weaponry. The plant was converted for civilian use in the 1970s. Located just outside the town of Pripyat, about 11 miles northwest of the town of Chernobyl. The plant was only 10 miles from the border between the Ukrainian and Belarusian republics and roughly 70 miles north of Kiev, the capital and largest city of Ukraine. On April 26, 1986, at 1:23 a.m., there was an explosion that caused severe damage. Reactor number 4 suffered a catastrophic steam explosion resulting in a nuclear meltdown. A series of additional explosions and a graphite fire that used up 3.5% of the fuel stored in the reactor core. It allowed tons of radioactive material to escape into the environment. Particles were carried by winds across international borders. The accident produced a plume of over 450 radionuclides that drifted over parts of Western Soviet Union, Eastern Europe, and Scandinavia. It has gone down as the worst nuclear accident the world has ever known. Up to the meltdown, all problems at Chernobyl plant had been result of construction or labor, though investigation later showed that corners had been cut in some of the construction and repair. Reactor number 4 had been operating at a very low capacity, 6 to 7% during the plant shutdown. Plant personnel intended to monitor the performance of the turbine generators during the changeover from standard to backup source of power. These particular generators supplied electric power for the plant's own operation. The reactor's design made it unstable at low power, and the operators were careless about the safety and precaution during the test. After a sudden power surge, 2 explosions destroyed the reactor core and blasted a large hole in the roof of the reactor building. Radioactive debris moved through this hole in heights of 0.6 miles carried by a strong updraft. Fires caused the explosion, and heat of the reactor core fed the updraft. Although the immediate death toll is set at 31, it is impossible to ignore the deaths that resulted days or even weeks later as a result of high levels of radiation. Ukraine officials once estimated between 7,000 and 8,000 in the cleanup workers alone. Most physical deformities came in the way of birth defects. It is said that Russian officials told doctors that they were not able to report radiation poisoning as a cause of death on the certificates, so there are no complete records of the numbers who were affected. The total population of the areas that we now know today and that were in the path of the radiation came to the potential 4.5 million that may have been affected. Possibly the most unexpected side effect of the disaster are the political reactions. In most cases, Russian officials were more concerned with giving good reports than giving true reports or taking necessary actions. Not until it was too late did officials admit that the seriousness of the meltdown, and this was likely because they were receiving aid from other nations. Had the government gave attention to the incident from the beginning and took necessary measurements to evacuate people disregarding the bad publicity, it is possible that some deaths and health problems may have been avoided. 50,000 people used to live here, and now it's a ghost town. The opening line of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, a 2007 Xbox 360 game. Most skip over the opening story in a haste to start the gameplay, not realizing the devastating history behind the game setting. Enough time has passed and our generation does not remember the true tragedy of Chernobyl, other than a brief lesson in the history class or a short note on the news of the anniversary of the disaster. Chernobyl is pushed to the back of our minds. It is certain, though, that those who witnessed the tragedies or knew people who were affected will never be able to wipe away the memory. The majority of this information came from www.unu.edu in Article 7, The Chernobyl Disasters, Its Effects on Belarus and Ukraine, by David R. Malkus. The additional details were taken from the Chernobyl disaster by Victor Haynes and Marco Boivik. The Truth About Chernobyl by Gregory Mendez were also my other 2 sources. Thank you.